This happened to me some years ago. It's something I'll never forget as long as I live. In 2017, life was good. I was young, hopeful, and had a decent job that allowed me to pay my bills and even save a little. That's when I met her. We'll call her Ada. Ada and I clicked instantly, like we'd been destined to cross paths. She was lively, charming, and always seemed to know what to say. We started confiding in each other, sharing our deepest secrets and dreams, things we hadn't told anyone else. Soon, Ada became more like family to me than a friend. Little did I know how much that friendship would impact my life. In 2018, just as life seemed to be falling into place, I met a guy. Let's call him King. He was everything I had prayed for in a husband: kind, hardworking, and deeply spiritual. I was over the moon, and he felt the same about me. Our relationship progressed quickly, and I couldn't believe my luck. Ada was thrilled, or so I thought. She'd always ask about him, and I'd share every detail, from our long phone calls to the sweet things he'd say. One afternoon, out of the blue, Ada handed me a small mirror. It was beautiful, encased in a delicate, silver frame with tiny engravings around the edges. She said it was a little gift to remind me to see myself as beautiful. I remember laughing, saying how unnecessary the gift was, but she insisted. Keep it close, okay? You never know when you might need a little reminder of how amazing you are. I felt touched, genuinely appreciating the gesture. From that day on, I kept the mirror in my handbag. It became a constant companion, even though I barely used it. I switched bags often, but every time, the mirror was the first thing I transferred. It became almost a ritual, a small token of my friendship with Ada. Then, things started to change in ways I didn't understand. One night, I had a vivid dream. In the dream, I was staring down at my hand, admiring the engagement ring King had given me. But as I looked closer, I realized the ring wasn't a ring at all. It was a strip of tape, wrapped around my finger. I woke up in a cold sweat, disturbed and shaken. I brushed it off as just a weird dream, but something about it nagged at me. Gradually, my relationship with King began to deteriorate. Arguments started over small issues that had never mattered before. The love and excitement that had defined our relationship faded, replaced by tension and mistrust. I found myself questioning his every word, his every action. Soon, he was questioning mine too. Despite the conflicts, I tried to make it work, pouring out my heart to Ada whenever I felt hopeless. She was my comfort, always there to listen and assure me that everything would be fine. But King and I only drifted further apart. By the end of 2019, our relationship had completely fallen apart. The breakup left me shattered. I lost weight, lost sleep, and worst of all, lost myself. And that wasn't all, I lost my job too. My manager called me in one afternoon and told me they had to make cuts, and I was on the list. I was stunned. Without my job, I had no way to pay my rent, and in a matter of weeks, I found myself struggling to survive. Ada was there, of course. She'd visit, bring me food, and even help out with some of my bills. But as grateful as I was, a part of me felt a strange unease around her. I couldn't place it, so I buried it deep inside and focused on surviving each day. With no job and no support from King, my life was unraveling. Depression set in, and each day felt heavier than the last. Then came 2020, and with it, the lockdown. My situation, which was already bad, became unbearable. I had to rely on the kindness of neighbors and old friends, practically begging for food. Every day was a struggle, and I often found myself crying out to God for help. I went from church to church, attending prayer services, clinging to any hope I could find. But no matter how much I prayed, nothing seemed to change. I felt abandoned, hopeless, like I was drowning in a sea of despair. Then one day, I heard that Ada had moved to Dubai. I was shocked, not just that she'd left, but that she hadn't told me. I found out through a mutual friend, who mentioned that Ada had married a white man and was living a life of luxury abroad. It stung deeply. She hadn't even said goodbye. Not long after, I had another strange dream. In it, I was sitting in a classroom, supposed to be taking an exam. Instead, I opened my bag, took out that small mirror Ada had given me, and began gazing at myself in it, admiring my face. Time slipped away, and when I finally looked up, the exam was over. I hadn't answered a single question. I woke up feeling confused, unsettled, but the dream faded quickly, swallowed by the daily struggle of survival. By now, I barely went out. I had no reason to. I had no job, no social life, and the weight of my debts kept me isolated. The mirror was still in my bag, but it felt forgotten, just like many things in my life. Then, in 2021, a miracle happened. After countless applications and rejections, I was invited for a job interview. I couldn't believe it. It felt like a small glimmer of hope after years of darkness. I prepared as best as I could and prayed fervently the night before, asking God for a breakthrough. That night, I had another dream. This time, it was clearer than ever. I saw that same mirror, almost glowing, as if trying to tell me something. But I dismissed it, too focused on the interview to read into it. The next day, I attended the interview and felt it went well. As I walked home, feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and hope, something unexpected happened. I was passing by a small stream when I heard a voice. It wasn't audible, but rather a whisper in my spirit, clear and firm. The voice told me, "That mirror you keep seeing in your dreams is a monitoring spirit. It's the reason you've been suffering." I froze, startled. The voice continued, "The mirror is with you right now. Throw it into the water." My heart raced as I frantically searched my bag, and there it was, hidden in a small side pocket. That small, silver-framed mirror that Ada had given me years ago. My hand shook as I pulled it out. I stared at it, a rush of memories flooding my mind, the friendship, the breakup, the job loss, the endless struggles. Something inside me urged me to let go, to throw it into the water and leave it all behind. Without another thought, I hurled it into the stream, watching as it sank beneath the water. I felt a strange weight lift from my chest, a freedom I hadn't felt in years. The next day, I received a call. I had gotten the job. After years of pain, loss, and seemingly endless struggles, my life was finally turning around. I realized that some friendships, no matter how close they seem, can bring hidden harm. And in that moment, I knew that God had been listening all along, waiting for the right time to reveal the truth. Thank you, Jesus.